Today's gospel reading, we have our Lord giving us this parable of the nobleman who goes to a distant country, and he has 10 slaves, and he gives each of them 10 pounds. And he says, do business with these until I come back. And as we see, some of them traded and got more, but there was one individual who just wrapped it up and hid it away because he didn't want to take a risk. He was afraid to take a risk. And there's a very important message here for all of us. God has given us various talents, various abilities, but He's also given us the ability to love, the ability to have faith, and to manifest that faith. The more we manifest faith, the more we grow in faith. You know, it's easy when we're in the privacy of our own rooms to be very prayerful, to be very devout. It's a little bit harder to do it in public. So, for example, coming to Mass. But it's even harder to do it outside of church. So, in other words, in the public realm where we might be opposed or persecuted. You know, for example, sometimes people feel uncomfortable making the sign of the cross in a restaurant or praying grace before meals. So, manifesting our faith in public will help us to grow in faith. It will strengthen our faith. And also with love. The more love we practice on a daily basis, the more we will grow in love. So we will receive more in return. Now notice how our Lord says that for the one who didn't make any profit or didn't gain anything back, even what he has will be taken away. And sometimes that seems a little bit harsh, but when we think of it from the perspective of faith, it makes perfect sense. So someone who has great faith, well, they're going to grow in faith, they're going to persevere in faith. Usually when people lack faith or only have a little bit of faith, and especially when they're just hiding it away, that faith is going to be lost. It's going to be taken away. Soon as there's any persecution or some difficulty, they just abandon their faith very easily. It's interesting how we've been having readings from the book of Maccabees, first and second books of Maccabees. And in today's first reading, there's this account of the mother who has 7 sons. And she loses her 7 sons in a single day. Now imagine those of you who are mothers losing your children. It's a horrible thought. It's a horrible thing to happen, especially if you were to lose all of them in a single day. Now notice there's one son left, the youngest of them, and they're trying to convince the mother to convince the son to take swine's flesh or to eat pork, which they're not supposed to according to the Jewish law. So they're encouraging her, save your son. You've lost the others already, But notice what she does. She encourages her son to persevere in the faith. She's willing to lose him physically so that she can gain him back for all eternity. In other words, she understands the truth and she has her priorities straight in her mind. Obeying God, obeying the commandments of God is far more important than any earthly thing in this world. She's willing to die herself. She's willing to allow even her children, her sons, to die, even her very last son. And if you really think about this deeply, it's a tremendous witness, and hence it is recorded in the book of Maccabees, because these individuals were an inspiration, a motivation to the others who were trying to persevere in their faith also. Now, to be able to do this woman had to have great faith. And in order to have great faith, she had to manifest her faith in little things on a day-to-day basis, such as watching what she was eating, because according to the Jewish law, you could not eat pork. So in other words, she was faithful in little things, and so in the end, she was able to be faithful in great things. So that little faith that she initially started off with when she was probably young grew and increased, and that faith manifested itself and proved itself in the face of persecution, even in the face of torture and death, as her sons experienced. So we should learn from her example, and we should try to do the same. We should look for those opportunities to manifest our faith. And yes, we need to grow in love also. And it's partially by manifesting our faith that we're also engaging in loving others, because we're trying to give them the greatest gift possible, the gift of faith.